We're gonna need a bigger boat. Hello summoners and welcome. Well, it is officially October now, and I thought I would make a video to properly commemorate the start of spooky season. And I figured it was time for another MMO video, and there was a topic I had in mind that would be perfectly suited for that theme. As we all know by now, the MMO is still quite a ways off, but it's still a lot of fun to talk about what we want and expect from it. And it seems like Riot has been paying attention to feedback lately, so the more we talk about our expectations for the MMO now, the better it'll be when it finally comes out. So this time, I wanted to talk about what will easily be the most terrifying place in the entire MMO. And I do not mean the Shadow Isles, the Noxian Fighting Pits, or even the Ursine Lands. Some deep Freljord lore there, if you know you know. No, the region that will easily be the most terrifying place in all of Runeterra to explore will without a doubt be Bilgewater. And I know this might seem like an odd choice at first, given that there are certainly other more horror-adjacent places in the world of Runeterra. I already mentioned the Shadow Isles. But hear me out, because at the end of this video, I guarantee that you will think twice before diving into the murky depths of Bilgewater. Now I'm sure Butcher's Bridge and Reaver's Row and plenty of other recognizable locations will all be there to explore in Bilgewater. But it's the seas off its shores that will really test your courage. I know when you think of Bilgewater, your first thought is probably pirates, but misfortune and Gangplank's war is only one part of what makes up this region. Bilgewater is also known for something else: sea monsters, and more specifically, the hunting of them. And I'm sure that central component of Bilgewater will be included in some way in the MMO. Let me just paint a picture for you. You're in the middle of a Bilgewater questline, and you're tasked with traveling to another isle, possibly a Buru site to restore a relic or the like, when while sailing, you notice something in the water. A massive, dark shadow passing beneath you. You see a massive head with multiple eyes glowing in the dark, a huge undulating body following it, and a sharp dorsal fin the size of your ship's sail sticking out of the water. You know that whatever's down there could make an easy meal of your vessel, and all you can do is wait and pray that it passes. As someone with severe thalassophobia, this would be a nightmare scenario for me that would probably prompt me to just turn my game off. And that's just a sample of what we might see as a simple flavor encounter. A visual element just there to add a little spice or mystique to the region. But there is the potential that Riot may give us actual mechanical world encounters, such as a party of players coming across a horror of the depths while sailing and then having to fight it off through combined handling of their ship. Conversely, these may even serve as regional side quests, players working together on sea monster hunts to make some side money in Bilgewater. I can already see a huge group activity of players operating a monster hunting vessel decked out with harpoons and powder kegs to complete contracts for money and exclusive loot. But that wouldn't be the full extent of what lurks beneath the waves. Say we'll have to venture beneath the sea at some point, maybe exploring underwater caves for sunken treasure, or maybe completing quests in the Morai Reefs, which would be an awesome zone to add to the game for expansion, by the way. And all too easily we could find ourselves face to face with an unseen terror of the deep. Here are just a few cards from Legends of Runeterra to give you an idea of what we could see. And there's also the potential for an underwater raid, maybe fighting to the bottom of the sea to loot a legendary wreck guarded by an ancient leviathan. Or maybe even the titan of the depths himself, Nautilus. Just imagine falling overboard and seeing something huge swimming towards you from the depths, and you'll start to understand why this region will earn such a fearsome reputation. But let's go through some more ideas of what we could encounter in Bilgewater specifically. Sharkling. These would be some pretty basic combatants if we should go below. Probably the most basic monster you can encounter. Not huge, but aggressive. The closest equivalent of an actual real-world shark. Sea Scarab. These vaguely humanoid monsters are voracious scavengers that feed off anything they find in the waters, and they likely are not above attacking living prey. Like sharklings, these wouldn't be high level monsters, but fairly basic enemies to fight during underwater encounters. And I will say they are pretty creepy looking. Redfin Hammersnout. And yes, that is actually what this thing is called. Again, these aren't huge threats in Bilgewater, but these would be something you could encounter while sailing. They have a habit of targeting ships, seemingly breaching for no other reason than to sink vessels. So they would probably be a nuisance, or at least the most common monster to fight while actually on your ship. Plateworm. Plateworms are vicious creatures of the deep whose eggs are highly prized treasures in Bilgewater. So they would surely give high value loot yields and likely act as bosses guarding those treasures from the players. Jawfish. This one is an icon. The very same type of beast that once swallowed Pike himself. This massive monster could either act as a target for monster hunts, or maybe as a legendary boss in certain activities. But these would surely be high-level enemies only encountered in endgame content. Sephirsa, Scourge of the Deep. This would not be a simple enemy or even just a boss. Sephirsa is a beast of legend, a leviathan sea dragon who sits atop a legendary horde. None who have ever sought her treasure have survived, and this fearsome sea beast would almost certainly be a raid boss, something to face at the very depths of Bilgewater seas for only the best loot. And that's my list of monsters I thought worth mentioning, but there are several others Riot could use to give us even more fear of the sea. Or, worsen my own pre-existing anxieties. But I'd love to know what you think. Would you be willing to jump overboard in Bilgewater, or are you staying firmly on land? Be sure to let me know in the comments below, and if you like this video, then consider subscribing to my channel. I love making videos with the Riot MMO, and I already have a few others on my channel worth checking out, with more on the way. But until our next voyage, I'll see you out on the Summoner's Rift.